Well, hello everybody. How's it going? I figured I'd go with a different angle today. See how it looks. So, how's everyone doing? Have you missed me yet? Maybe, maybe not. So, today what we're going to do is we're going to discuss the hearing yesterday. I'm not going to go too far into it. I may even drop another video as well about the press conference that went on after the hearing. Okay, so on this particular subject, man, look at my hair. What the heck? Oh, this is a bad thing about wearing a hard hat. Your hair just starts to do whatever. It got little lines in it from having the hard hat on. But so I watched a little bit of the hearing, and it was hilarious at best. Okay, now these professors, these experts that they brought in, they couldn't bring the most biased people that ever known to man, it seems like. I mean, they're very firm with their ideal of this impeachment process and everything, and this is getting out of line, out of control. You know, when is it going to stop? So they're saying that that Donald Trump can stop all this by participating more in these inquiries and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly what would be the best method. I mean, he's already said he wasn't going to comply until you start doing things the right way. And he suggests that anyone else that's connected to him would do the same. So, I mean, they're trying so hard to fish something out of these hearings to try to change the mind of the people. See, that's really who they're trying to change the mind of. They're trying to change the mind of the people, but not the people on the left, right? They're not trying to change the minds of Democrats, and they're not trying to change the minds of Republicans. You would think they're trying to change the minds of the Republicans, but no, they're not going after the Republicans. They're going after the independents, right? The people who vote Democratic and Republican. The people who don't care about which side wins, they care more about the outcome of the country. So when they're doing these hearings, they're really trying to get their idea to change to where they believe that the president is guilty of something. Now, they keep bringing up like this: what did the founders think of what Donald Trump would have done, and what would the founders have done, and then the founders this and the founders that. Look, I understand that we based everything off of the blueprint that was laid out before us with the Constitution and everything, and we've made changes to the Constitutions over time, and we're probably going to make more changes to the Constitution as the country continues to grow. It's not like it's set in stone. It can be written to a point. But where we're scared is that if we start rewriting on the Constitution, that it can get very one-sided or the other. And that's the thing about the Constitution. It was supposed to be down the middle, so that regardless of who was in power, one power could not use it against the other power. Okay, look, I want to let everyone know, if you're tired of Donald Trump, then vote against Donald Trump. You know, but we have to stop these impeachment inquiries and stuff like that. All it's doing is wasting millions and millions and millions of dollars to hold these hearings, and we're not accomplishing anything. We're not accomplishing anything that benefits us as a nation. What are these lawmakers doing with their time? Are they actually doing any real work that betters the country? Is their only work that they believe of getting Donald Trump out of office their most important thing to do? So this this is getting out of control as far as the spending that they're doing. But what I mean, what's the end game, right? The end game is to possibly try to get Donald Trump impeached, but they know that they're not going to accomplish that. I mean, they can impeach him in the House, and why they haven't had the vote is because they know that they don't have enough information to bring it to the Senate. Okay? Because in the Senate, you know, you're going to have to change the minds of the Republicans, and they're not going to be able to do that unless they have adequate amount of information against Donald Trump. So and everyone knows this. Everyone knows that once it makes it to the Senate, that's it. It's not going anywhere. Okay? And not because it's mainly Republican ran, but because, you know, there's just not enough information to impeach the president at the highest level. But, you know, why haven't they had the vote again? Since they are so sure that Donald Trump is guilty of something, and they are so sure that they have enough information to use against Donald Trump for the impeachment, then have the vote. See, that's what Donald Trump is waiting for. Donald Trump has said, hey, you know what? Have the vote. Vote on this impeachment. If you feel like I'm guilty, vote on it. And then when what was going to happen is that it will go to the Senate, and then he would plead his case, have his lawyers fight for him and stuff like that, because he feels like any fighting he does now is almost a waste of time and a waste of effort. And if he's focused on the impeachment now, then he's not focusing on what needs to be done in the country. So he's going to wait until he has to do it, until it gets to the highest level of the Senate. Now, could we, the people, stop this from happening? No, we can't. Not at this moment. We can't stop this from happening at this moment because the Democrats run the House. There's nothing more we can do. I just want to know that people who voted for some of these people, what were you thinking? Because these people have done nothing for us. They have done nothing for you or your community. You tell me how the people that you put in office made it better for you. And you can't. All you can tell me is that they keep fighting against Donald Trump, and that's what their focus is. So that is so crazy to me that they would get into office and just neglect their entire job. See, if the government was ran like a company, then people would have been fired. But, you know, sometimes even the shittiest workers still keep a job. So I don't know, sometimes but in most cases they would have been fired a long time ago. But people, we need to get out and vote, and we need to get, when next year comes, we need to vote a lot of these people out of office. And you know, they believe that they won the House because they were just a better branch, and there weren't. It wasn't that. It was just they were worried that if it was too Republican, that they may get hurt somehow. But maybe having an all-Republican House, an all-Republican Senate, and have a Republican in office might be what it takes to straighten things out. Because then there's a lot less fighting. But then again, we have a couple Republicans who are fighting against Donald Trump, even though he's part of their party. But then again, I mean, he wasn't always a Republican, so not all Republicans are going to stand with him all the time. But I want to see this all end. So people, when y'all go out to vote, you know, let's try to get people in there that's going to work with our president, regardless of if he's a Democrat or Republican. Right? Look, I'm not telling everyone to go vote Republican, because you have the right to vote however you want. But if you're going to vote Democrat or you're going to vote independent, try to vote for someone who's willing to work on both sides of the aisle, who aren't just focused on their dislikes for this president. Because this president is going to win in 2020. So when you go out there to vote, you vote for someone who's going to be able to work with this president who's going to get reelected. Don't vote someone else who's going to go in there and waste our money and waste our time and try to keep us on this emotional roller coaster ride that's called impeachment. Because that's really what they're doing, is they're trying to distract us and try to distract everyone from the ultimate goal of the country. See, if anyone's going to be talking about stuff that should be going on or shouldn't be going on in the country, is can someone answer why they keep doing chemtrails throughout the skies every day, right? What's the point of those, and when can we stop that kind of stuff, right? Or, something else. There's more important matters that we can discuss and get taken care of. Everyone wants to refer back to the way that the founders laid it out, but they only do that when it argumentally matches what they're trying to put out, right? So, say for instance the Second Amendment, right? And I love the Second Amendment. I hope nothing ever happens to the Second Amendment. And even though that's the law of the land and no law can ever outdo that particular law, they still enforce certain laws to do away with that law. See, for instance, it's your right to bear arms. But we have laws saying that if you have a felony, you lose the right to bear arms. Right? So we have laws that are trumping over the very laws of this nation that was set before the founders, right? So, you have these different laws to take away a certain part of the Constitution, and everyone's fine with it. But then as soon as someone does something off the wall or different or crazy or whatever the case may be, then you go back to the Constitution and you say, well, look at the Constitution. This is what it should be. This is what it is. This is the law of the land. There's nothing better than this. There's nothing bigger than this. This is what we should all abide by. Well, then why are you making laws to almost negate the very Constitution that we live by? And if you don't believe me, look at it. Look how it says that you cannot sit there and bear arms if you're a felon, right? If you have certain types of criminal background, they won't let you buy a gun. So, and then it says that all Americans have the right to bear arms, but it doesn't say how old you have to be to bear arms. Doesn't say that you have to be 18. Doesn't say that you have to be 21. Okay? And it doesn't say that you can only carry concealed if you have a license to do so. Right? It doesn't say that. It just says that you have the right to bear arms. And they pass these laws to try to kind of protect the people, because some people are out to do harm amongst other people, and they figure that this would be the best way to do so. But we are trampling all over the Constitution. You right? Look at the freedom of speech, okay? Where the government isn't allowed to infringe on that, right? But a company is. Now, see, it's a company's right to have the people that they want to have inside the company, who are going to benefit the company in the best way. But say, for instance, you say something that the company doesn't like outside of the company, away from the company, in the privacy of either your own home or in the privacy of others. And that information gets out, and the company hears about it, and then they fire you and terminate you from your job for that particular case. You can't take that to court and say, I was wrongfully terminated because of a statement that I made amongst some people of mine, or whatever the case may be, right? Because the law states that a company can let you go regardless of reason. and the company passes policies that you sign off on saying that you'll watch what you say, right? So it's almost like a contract. You basically signed a contract with this company saying that you won't go out and about and say random stuff that may or may not hurt the vision or the look of the company. So, but that takes away from the ability to say whatever you like as well, right? And the government says that you can say whatever you like, but did you know if you threaten someone's life, you can be arrested for a terroristic threat? See, I had first heard about that when I was a teenager, because I was told that by somebody that was in law enforcement, because I had threatened to hurt somebody in a certain way, and they were talking about arresting me for a terroristic threat, because it was a threat of violence or death. So so when it says that the government cannot enforce a law, or not enforce a law, but not do something about that and put you in jail for your freedom of speech, when they can. I mean, they're passing these laws to overdo the Constitution. People, we have to look at what is really out there and what these laws are really doing. Now, don't buy into this crap that they got going on now, but we really need to start looking at some of the stuff that's really going on in the background. Okay? The same way that one law passed to make sure that we can't do certain things to the Fed, which is, the Fed isn't a government-ran organization, right? But we can't do certain things to the Fed because in certain laws it protects them, right? So I mean, you know, look at some of these laws that allow these cell phone companies to keep your data and stuff like that. And if the government ever needs it, they can request or get it without your permission, because of you signing these contracts with your cell phone carriers. So I mean, these type of things we have to look out for. But this impeachment stuff that's going on, and these hearings that are going on, they're just a waste of money and a ploy to distract the people from what's really important. Now, look, people, some of y'all may hate me because I'm a Trump supporter, and some of y'all may agree with me because I'm a Trump supporter. It doesn't matter. I'm supporting Donald Trump because I wanted something different than the regular, right? So, how's it going, man? I'm out here recording on my break when people are starting to walk by and stuff like that. So, I had to say what's up. But, you know, I'll do another video in a little bit on probably about when I get off of work to discuss something else. But people, look, they're distracting us from what's really important. And what's really important is just letting go of this left and right concepts and fighting. But it's kind of hard to do so when there's so many people out there trying to destroy this country. People who are born and raised here, who say they're an American, but want to see us fall. They're no different than a murderer or a sociopath, right? You know, they have no reason to do it. They just do it. You know, the people who kill for no reason, they just enjoy the killings. Well, there's people who are enjoying the fall of this country and the divide. Okay, but people, we got to start looking further into these laws that they're passing on us. Okay, when every time they do a hearing, look and see what they're doing in the background. But you know what? They like to do these hearings and these different things when Donald Trump is doing certain things, right? So whenever Donald Trump started or went to the UN meetings, right? That's when they started doing the impeachment hearings beforehand, right? And that was just to kind of shake things up so that these foreign leaders won't do certain types of business with us, right? Because they don't know if Donald Trump is going to stay in office or not. And then same thing as when he was going to go down to London to speak with the president of Paris. I don't know. He was going to go to overseas, right? But then they're going to bring in these law professors who supposedly experts, but everyone knows that that these schools and these professors and everything all lean to the left. Not one professor seems like to be on the right, and I don't know the reasoning for it, but people, this shit's just a distraction. Okay? Don't get distracted. Let's focus on what's really important, okay? And that's putting people in office that are actually looking out for the country and not their own particular party. Okay? So let's see how this all plays out in the future. But until next time, I'll holler at y'all, alright? Peace.